Hi, I'm Dev, the oldest.
I'm Trey, the middle child.
And I'm Nick, the youngest.
Must like boys. Must Like Boys is a podcast by us, the Peas. We're three siblings with a last name you'll never spell right and opinions you didn't ask for.
We live in 3 different time zones, have 3 different zodiac signs, but one thing we have in common is we all like boys.
Each episode we bring 3 mystery topics to the table. Pop culture, politics, pride, parenting, psychology, basically anything with a pulse.
So here we go. All right, and since this is the very first episode, I decided we're going to give introductions for each other. It's one of my core beliefs in life that people generally hate introducing themselves. So I thought we would take that pressure away and instead do an intro for one another. The the twist here is that we didn't do any pre-reads on this, so none of us know what the other one is going to say about each other. Also, in true opposite of family fashion, I'm gonna ask us to refrain from interrupting each other in this intro. So that's not normal for us. If we're usually big interrupters, but I think for the sake of getting through an introduction, we're gonna try to be on our best behavior here. So, with that, Trey, go ahead and give an intro for me. Let's see how this goes.
I kind of feel like I'm at a wedding and I'm giving like my best man speech again. Devin
Yeah, I
is
didn't
one
know
of those
how
people.
hard to go on
Oh,
this
he's
one.
already interrupting.
You broke rule one.
This is my first thing I've said. Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Devin is one of those people who's so naturally caring it's borderline irritating, but in the best way. Sure, she may have been unofficially assigned that role at the moment I was born, but she stepped into it like a champ. Maybe not always with a smile, but definitely with more patience than our mom ever did. She used to dress me and Nick in her old dance recital outfits like we were her living, breathing Barbies. And the joke ended up being on her because I fell in love with those sequin skirts and refused to wear anything else during playtime. Devin thought being gay was cool way before I even did. She's always been a champion for the underdog, the type to hang a flag in her yard for every month, just because she can. When her pride flag was stolen last June, she didn't just replace it, she bought 2 more just to make a point. She's the mom who lets her kids run lemonade stands, but only if the proceeds go to a charity that they choose. She tips her local Mexican restaurant staff hundreds of dollars during the holidays because she knows they're sending money home to support their families. And during COVID, she hand drew a sign and hung it on the tree in her backyard by her trail so the trail growers could read, "This too shall pass." The most frustrating part is she doesn't do any of this to be seen as a good person, she just is one. At some point, I think our parents gave up trying to compare me to her because honestly, it was never going to be a close race. Devin is a peak older millennial, though. She didn't ask to be born in 1984, but she'll still listen to CDs in the car and print out MapQuest directions if you let her. She's old school in a way that might have once been her flaw, but now it feels like a vintage superpower. I love you, Dev.
That was way nicer than I was
Oh my
expecting.
God. Mine is not this nice.
Oh man, like
I'm a writer. What can I say?
You're always
wow.
Trey, you were always the one who would write something really nice in a greeting or like a thank you card, and I would just go back and kind of copy and like rewrite what you said because it was
I
always
like
so spot on and good.
I can't like actually write an email to save my life, but like if it's heartfelt, it's something comes out of my soul and it just
Yeah, you're
it
so
pours
good at
out.
it.
Well, thank you guys.
All right, we're gonna just wrap up the pod there because okay, Nick, you get to follow that and introduce Trey.
Oh, sweaty palms.
Oh God.
Okay, I did this in first person because there was really no
Wait,
script.
didn't I do mine in first person?
No, you did it in third person.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah. Okay, so mine is
Grammar.
Hi, I'm Trey, the middle child that fits the stereotype. Always the one getting in trouble and getting away with it. Some may call me a gym rat, but I prefer to be identify as a CrossFit chipmunk. I have 37 tattoos, 8 of which are Lady Gaga ones. She is my number one diva, and I want you to know that I met her while I was living in New York. And also, she kissed me. And all right, sorry. All right, so now I live in Austin, Texas, with my cousin. That is not as country as it sounds. She is a female, and I am gay. I came out at 22, a year after my brother did, despite having had a Lady Gaga 21st birthday party with multiple outfit changes where no one knew. I have a 2-year-old rescue dog named Olive, who is my biological daughter. I am a amazingly talented marketer, artist, karaoke singer, designer, both graphic and fashion. I am the prettiest bitch in the room, and yes, I did buy this Mickey Mouse shirt from Goodwill and crop it, and yes, it looks better than your Ed Hardy tee. Thank you very much.
All right, I will take that.
That's good.
Yeah, you rounded it out at the end.
Thank you.
First of all, that 21st birthday party was iconic. There was a red carpet, and I did have multiple outfits.
3 outfit changes.
Well, the middle one was I came out in like the full white latex bodysuit that covered my eyes from the Bad Romance video. So, anyway,
body.
It was amazing,
There was no topping that.
and I've peaked then.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to read Nick's intro. Here we go. Here's what you need to know about Nick. He is the youngest and he's the tallest. He is an Australian citizen and, ironically, the most likely to keep up with American politics. He's a water sign, a Cancer specifically, which means he's sensitive and perceptive and very patient. A resident of Brisbane with his partner of 10 years, embarking on a big home renovation. He's a former prom king, a karate black belt, and a cat lover. As a kid, he never liked wearing clothes, and one summer, an entire beach neighborhood in New Jersey knew him as Naked Nick. A graduate of Georgia Tech with an engineering degree, working hard these days as a front-end web developer. Honestly, he has a talent for seeing the good in people, and he likes people that I could just never. Of the three of us, he is most likely to not answer texts, most likely to sleep through an important event, but also most likely to save the environment. And that's a wrap.
I love that. Thank you.
All right, now we need to print those out and frame them so we can each remember how great we are every day.
We all came from this in very different ways. Like, I wrote mine literally last night. I'm sure Devin had this prepared for a week, and, Trey probably knocked it out in 2 seconds and didn't really think much about it.
I did knock it out in 5 minutes.
Yes, you did.
We all did our homework this time, so.
But you know what? Lady Gaga wrote Just Dance in 10 minutes, so greatness can happen in short sprints.
Look at that.
I'll continue to sprinkle those in, everyone. Thank you.
All right, we're going to transition to topics for this week. So like we said at the top, every week, each of us is going to bring a topic, and we've got 5 minutes to talk through it, or 3 minutes. If I want to use my sand timer here, we can cut it down a little shorter.
What game is that from? Is that like Taboo?
This timer? I don't know. It came from some child's game somewhere, but it
Taboo's
was in my
only 1
office.
minute, so
I've never seen a 3-minute, 1-minute timer in my life.
It's a 3-minute sand timer. I timed it to make sure because, of course, I did. Okay. So, without further ado, Nick, you're starting off this week. Give us topic 1. You're starting.
Okay. So, last night I was scrolling Instagram when I saw this ad for a white tank top. And in the ad, I could have sworn they said the word wife beater. And that's something that I haven't really heard as much anymore because that feels like a canceled term. And so I clicked through the ad, and they actually didn't call it a wife beater. They called it a white beta, as in B-E-A-T-A, or a beta singlet.
Wait,
which
white
is
or wife?
white. So it's a white beta, that was they were calling it.
Okay.
So I thought that was a little bit strange. So I went looking, and so if you go on Amazon, you can search wife beater, and white tank tops will come up. But nobody uses that term anymore, right? So Gen Z tried to change the wife beater to a wife pleaser, but most everyone who heard that thought it was so cringe and never took off. So I did a little digging into the origin of a wife beater, the shirt, because I just thought it's such a weird thing, and why do I not know why it's called that? Do you guys know why it's called that?
I have some assumptions, but I feel like I'll get canceled if I say them out loud. So why don't you proceed?
I don't think you will. I think you need to say one of those assumptions.
Because generally, people that might be wearing them might have certain proclivities.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yes.
all saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Did we?
Also, did you guys know that master bedroom is outdated?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I like-
primary or main.
I know.
The word
just-
master in
I
general.
So
would catch
we're-
myself, and I'm embarrassed that I said it. I'm like,
So
oh my
we're
god, no.
plantation shutters. Can't call them that anymore.
I don't know what that is.
Like the shutters at mom and dad's house.
Oh,
Can't, yeah.
Okay. So so it's kind of like what you're saying. So originally, in the 1947, there was a man in Detroit named. Actually, no, I'm not saying his name. I'm just going to say his wife's name, who was Mary Hartford, previously Mary Elizabeth McCarthy, who was beaten by her husband to death in 1947 in Detroit. And so what happened is there was a photo of him with baked beans stained all over his white tank top, coming out of his house in handcuffs. And that was spread all over the news. And the tagline was "The Wife Beater." And everyone saw that shirt and called it a wife beater. So originally the shirt is called a tank top because it comes from the tank suit, which is something they wore in the 20s for like bathing suits and swimming and stuff like that. So the tank top was just the top of that suit. And then basically, yeah, after the fact, everyone would call it a wife beater. And interesting enough, it was also usually linked to poor Italian American men, and was called a guinea tea or a dago tea as well as an ethnic slur. And then in the 90s, it was basically reappropriated, reused kind of ironically in the rap gang culture. And it was kind of used to kind of flip it on its head and be like, you're shaming people who hit their wives, and you're saying this is something that's not okay to do. And then somewhere in like 2018, people were like, no, we're going to cancel this and not say this anymore. So we no longer really use that term. But so I go on this website and I'm like, they're using the word beta, but like an Australian slang type of way, like beater, it's beta, like, which is what Australians do. Okay, get this. The colors for the shirts were, okay, now remember, we're talking about how this is an Italian slur, right?
wait,
the
Italian,
colors.
where did that come
Hold
from?
on. Was the
Sorry.
the
The white
woman
beater was
who
also called a guinea tea or a dago tea. So
Right,
it was
but-
used.
the woman Mary who got beat to death by her husband, were they Italian? Or is this just a crossover?
The last name is Hartford, so I don't know,
no.
but I think they were gang related or something.
Okay.
Okay,
Well-
so the colors they have on the website are dirty white and wog brick brown.
I don't understand what WOG means.
Okay, wog is like a term for an Italian or a Greek person.
I hope you emailed this company.
I mean, I should.
You
It's
want
like
to drag them? You want to publicly drag them right
Yes.
now?
I think
Okay.
share their name.
they're called Milk Bar Melbourne, and they're just like this. It seems like very harmless enough, kind of kitschy. Maybe it's like he has like his dad on there that might have been Italian or something, but it just seems very on the nose and very strange for to be just like, yeah, I don't know, dirty white or wog brick brown. It sounds just ridiculous to put.
So you bought two of each.
I bought all three.
Why would you
They're on the way.
like if
This
you
podcast now brought to you by Milk Bar.
if you even were in the proximity of being misinterpreted in a racist way, just don't, right? Like,
Yeah, unless they are racist.
Or they're Italian. But
but
still,
but
I don't
that's
know.
like there's a fine line of like embracing racist Italian terms if you are Italian, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's true for any race group probably of like, I don't know,
Wait,
like
what were Italians called? Oh, greasers. It's like that never had a resurgence. That kind of
Guinea.
just like died.
Like
Why
Guinea was a
Guinea? What does Guinea mean?
and WAP, which was without papers.
Oh, yeah.
Without papers.
Yeah.
Oh, different than WAP.
Yeah.
Hardly.
No, that's the other terms that have had a resurgence and a very different meaning. The original WAP. All right. Okay, your timer's out. We're going to topic 2.
Okay, so mine's short, but they're just a few facts. But as we're in Pride Month, I've been reading a lot of posts that are on my timeline feed, obviously under the Trump administration and companies pulling back due to economic and political pressures, obviously with the rollback of all DE&I initiatives. But what I thought was kind of striking were the numbers, and when I kind of dived into it. So 39% of major corporations have reduced their spending in Pride Month marketing this year. Overall, corporate pride engagement is down 60% when compared to 2023. I didn't get the number for 2024. At large, pride events for San Francisco and New York, sponsorship funding has fallen between 20 and 30%. So basically creating budget shortfalls between 300K and upwards of 800,000. Big companies to pull back are BMW, Lowe's, Xfinity, Bank of America, Citibank, Target, Deloitte, MasterCard, Paramount Pictures, Comcast, Pepsi, Bud Light.
So depressing.
And
Give me a
what's
good
kind of
thought.
shocking to me is like, I don't like that list that I just named. Like for me, I mean, Nick, we've been also all of us have been to Pride parades, right? It's like Deloitte used to be a bit like I remember their floats. It's like they were always at a gay pride parade.
Yeah.
I know Bud Light like last year or 2 years ago did that marketing campaign with that trans woman Dylan, I think
Yeah.
was her
Dylan
name.
Mulvaney,
And like
I believe.
yeah, and like that got like insane pushback, and like the company ended up like dropping I don't know how much percent in their stock. And
They
so
dropped
I
her as a
do
sponsor or as a, yeah.
oh yeah, I mean it was like the backlash was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess like for me it's just kind of sad to see in a climate now that it's no longer like cool to be gay. Companies are now just reflecting that, and I think as a patron of someone that shops at a lot of these, it's like it's really kind of, as mom used to say, like you got to put your money where your mouth is. And the other day I had to go buy something for this podcast. It's a damn like memory card thing for my computer, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to Target. I'm gonna go to
Yes.
Walmart. I haven't been to a Walmart in years. But I was like, the fact that I know that
Walmart's
Target
not better
put
than
out-
Nick
Target.
Space. Nick Space.
Walmart is not better than Target.
Walmart better.
You need to
but
go to
is it-
Costco.
I don't, but I do love Costco.
God bless.
But okay, so
Costco.
that's another part of my point. It's like maybe Walmart never contributed to as much, but now they're not in the heat of things because they didn't pull out and retract as much in this past year. So maybe
But
they're
they
kind of like
did.
under the line of
They were
Did they?
They had a huge commitment to buying like from minority businesses. They had like a commitment to buying a certain percentage. They scrapped all of that. So like the DEI and any initiative.
I know
with
they
that.
pulled back on the DEI. I just didn't know if it was
Target
Pride
is
specific.
being. I think Target. I don't know the difference exactly between Target and Walmart, but I think Target's just being prosecuted more because they were seen as being a more gay-friendly company.
Yeah. Well, their Pride collection last year went off the rails. I mean, actually, no one needed any of that shit, so I'm kind of glad they're
What
rolling back.
happened? Everyone talks about it, but I wasn't there.
I don't. It was just
I
like
wasn't there, as in I wasn't in the United States.
I was in Australia.
it's
Our
just
Targets
was like
here suck.
I don't know. It was like if you could combine pride with chuggy and put it on a tote bag, that's what you had.
Is chuggy a brand or a term?
No, chuggy's a word.
Does it mean like awkward or something?
Chuggy means like everything that they sell at TJ Maxx. But also I love TJ Maxx.
It's everything I wear.
Anyway, those were the stats. I didn't really have a point. I guess it's just like, well, it's a little disappointing. I didn't, because I did know about Walmart rolling back their DEI stuff, but I guess they're just like not under as much spotlight as Target is. But I don't know. I guess I just think twice as to like where I'm putting my money. Also, Tito's was a big, and I don't really want to get too political, but like Tito's was a big sponsor of Trump's campaign, and Tito's runs Austin. Like you go to a bar and everyone's just Tito's vodka, Tito's
Yeah.
vodka. And so now I'm like, no, bitch, I'm ordering Grey Goose. I'm not going to order Tito's anymore. And so it's like little things like that that I've tried to implement in my
wow.
life.
It's
And I think
fancy.
it's just kind of being a little bit more aware and tuned into where companies are putting
Yeah,
their money.
I fully agree. I think more people should be doing this. Like, I think it's ridiculous. People are still shopping at Target and Walmart. It's just hard because it's like, what are the alternatives sometimes?
How
It's
are
like,
you
what do
gonna
you do?
not shop at Target?
And it's
Listen,
like,
I get
Like
it.
I
you're gonna
speak
go
from
to Amazon
Midwestern.
because Amazon's so much better, right? Like, they're all evil
Yeah.
companies.
On behalf of all Midwestern moms, we're not gonna stop shopping at Target. Sorry, like it's just not gonna happen.
But that's not
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
in my heart of hearts, I understand. However,
Wait, so
I love
you're
it.
still
Where do
fully
I
on the board
go?
with
Where am I gonna go that's not
Devin's
Target?
homophobic.
what's
I take back my entire intro.
I'm not gonna go to Walmart, is all I'm saying either.
I think we should just all shop at farmers markets and support local Rose apothecaries.
Yeah, if you have them, and if you live in an area where you don't, if you're not in a
You do.
major metropolitan area,
I've been to downtown Zionsville. You have those.
like I'm just saying, you can't. There's not always a lot of great alternatives.
I understand that it is hard. On the next episode, we'll address alternatives to Amazon shopping.
We'll come prepared with a list. Nick will build a website where you put in your zip code and he tells you sustainable and
Nick has a website.
gay-friendly
Honestly,
alternatives.
I've been thinking about building that website for a long time. I do have a website that you can go on and find out how green you are based on your bank and
We're
retirement.
saving that for a future. We're saving that for a future
Yeah,
episode.
we'll feature
Yeah,
that
save it, Nick. We don't have that much to talk
You're
about.
eating into my 3 minutes. Okay, here goes the timer again.
The sands of
We've gone
time.
over every single segment we're going over, just for the record. Actually, my topic was somewhat related. So related to Pride, that is, not to Target. But because it's Pride Month, I was thinking, what advice would y'all give to parents to raise kids who are anti-homophobic? Like, I feel like after 2020 and beyond, there was such a like anti-racist became like a term, right? Of like it's not enough to not be racist. It's like how do you proactively be anti-racist? So for parents raising kids to not just be like, "Oh, I'm okay with gay people," but to be like proactively anti-homophobic. What advice would you have?
I think it just starts with having conversations about it. You know, it's like I remember Mom, the first time that we ever had a conversation about gay people, we were camping, and I think it was after the Christina Aguilera Beautiful music video came out. And
You're dating yourself.
Yes,
Yes,
which
well,
had
correct.
like a didn't it have a trans person or a drag queen
no,
in
it had two
or-
gay guys, I believe, making out on a bench.
Okay, yeah.
And Mom said, I don't really care if you're gay. I just don't necessarily want to see it. And I remember that was like the first time in my recollection that it was
How
even
old were you?
talked about.
That was
I was
you as in like general, right? She wasn't saying you specifically. She was just saying like generally, I don't care if people are gay. I
Correct.
just don't. Okay, just clarify.
correct. It's just like I don't want to see it.
This was pre
Yeah.
coming out, just to set context down.
Yes, I was in
Yeah.
middle school when that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember, like, for me, it was being gay was just always looked down upon. No one talked about it in high school. The only guy that was actually out and gay, like everyone thought he was a freak because he like loved to dance to Britney Spears at the talent show, and he was so good. Everyone went to the talent show
He danced
just
to boys.
see him. Yes, he danced to boys. He was so amazing, and so
Everyone
like I
left
had to
after
move.
he did his thing because he was so good.
Correct. Oh my god, what an icon! If you're listening to this, I love you. But like, my point is, I had to literally move to LA to surround myself by gay people to like be in gay culture to understand that it's okay, because no one growing up in Georgia talked about it really. Like, Dev, you had your friend Alan, that I remember was like also one of the first people that I knew that like was openly and outwardly gay, and you like got along with him, and I remember like thinking that was so cool, but not knowing how to like even address that with you. I don't know. I guess that's my long-winded answer to say just fucking talk about it. Like, get a book about it. Just acknowledge the fact that it exists, because I just feel like we're living in a time that the government's just quite literally trying to erase all of that.
Yeah, I think like just normalizing same-sex attraction, normalizing, being like, oh, is there anyone you're attracted to? If you're talking about that, instead of, oh, do you like any girls? Or, instead of like, you don't have to gender it. Everything doesn't have to be gendered. Like everything can kind of be in general terms, because most people feel, romantic attraction like everyone else. They just feel it for different genders or no genders or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip, is just removing gender from the question, or removing gender like when you can, asking more open-ended questions,
And I just remember like Auntie Pam growing up, when we were in high school and Luke was a baby, not a baby, but like in his younger years. And she would always be like asking him, like, is there any girls or boys that you like? And she was always like very proactive in making sure that, I mean,
Yeah, I
yes,
remember
she
that.
was assigning genders, but like, how woke can you be in 2013 or whatever it was? But I remember her cognizantly and consciously putting that out there, and like we didn't have that growing up. It was stuffed down my throat, like, what girl are you dating? What girl are you dating? And it's like, it wasn't even part of the conversation that we were allowed to have.
Right.
It was not opened up to us. I mean, Div, you're obviously a parent. Like, is that coming up? Like, you've normalized Nick and I both being gay to your children.
Yeah, I think just like from the start, never talking about it as though it were an outlier. Like not that different from like our aunt being like, oh, is there anyone that you like? Like, do you have a crush on anyone? Just kind of very open-ended. Or, talking about different types of families from the time that they were like toddlers, of like, some families have one mom and one dad, and some families have two dads, and some families have one mom, and some families have two moms. And like, there's no wrong way to be a family, right? Like, there's all different types of being a family, or all different types of love. But I don't know. I mean, like that, I tried as they were very young to always just make it the norm, so that it didn't ever seem like, oh, that's unusual or outside of the norm. But I don't know, like we're heading into like middle school years, that's obviously going to like take on, I think it'll be a different set of challenges and like different questions, and yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end every episode with just a lightning round of unsolicited advice. So each of us just basically ranting about one quick thing, one piece of advice that you didn't ask for, but who knows, you might actually need it. So, any volunteers to start this week?
Recently, when I was at the airport, headed to North Carolina last weekend, I was behind someone at TSA who smelt so much like mildew. Like he left his clothes in the washer for way too long, and then took it out and dried them. But then the permanent mildew smell was on it. And my PSA and unsolicited advice is, please, 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 for the love of God, please smell your clothes before putting them on, and especially traveling in public, because someone had to sit next to that man on a 2-hour plane ride, and luckily it was not me. I just had to deal with it for 30 seconds behind TSA, but there's just something about a mildew smell that it makes me want to hit my head against a brick wall.
I just feel bad for that guy.
It's so bad.
No,
it's,
you
it's because of
don't
dad.
feel
No, I
bad for the people
do.
around him.
No, like I don't. I
How
do.
old was
I
he?
always just like
How
assume
old
worst
was
case
this man?
scenario.
He was my age and like well dressed. Like it wasn't like he was like looked like he was in poverty. And sorry if I was judging that. Like maybe he was,
just
but like
fucked up.
it just was screaming like lazy and unaware. I don't know. Smell your clothes, people.
Smell your clothes. That's this week's unsolicited advice. Nick, any unsolicited advice from you this week?
Wait, does your shirt smell like mildew right now, Nick?
No, it doesn't.
Does it? Do a
Smells
quick smell
lovely.
test.
No, but this
Mine
whole
smells
house has
great
been
for the record.
covered in-
Mine is also a little plane related, airport related.
I just got back from 24 hours of plane travel, possibly more. And I just feel like you should just have assigned seats for taller people. Like that should just be how it works. Like it just should be like I don't understand why a child should be sitting in first class. Like put that thing on any
That
small
thing?
seat and
Also, Nick, are you in the back of the bus or the front of the bus, bro?
I mean economy, but I got
They're
one
gonna
of
tell
the-
you you've got spaces for taller people. They're just gonna make
Okay,
you pay
I will
more
tell you
on
if
first
you
class.
are airplanes have a passenger of size policy, right? So if you are a certain weight, you are allowed to book two seats and get a refund for one of those seats when you land. They do not do the same thing for a tall person. It's discrimination, in my opinion.
All right, Dev, your unsolicited advice.
All
then
right.
get the hell out of
All
here.
right, my unsolicited advice for this week is if you have a roommate or a partner or you otherwise share your home with somebody, thank them for the little things that they do that are like their part of the chores. Even though you have your part of the chores and they have their part of the chores, I think it goes a long way to just acknowledge and say, hey, thanks for taking the trash out. Thanks for washing the dishes. Thanks for putting the clothes in the dryer so they didn't smell like mildew. Whatever it is. Like the little things that it's like, well, yeah, I did it because it's my job. I think it matters that you take a half a second and express that appreciation out loud. So that's my advice to you this week.
Your therapist told you about this week?
No,
Listen, I'm
me and my
big
therapist are
words
on a
of
hiatus
big
'cause
words
I'm
of
poor.
affirmation.
All right.
Thank
Talk
you
to next
guys so
time.
much for being with us. We'll talk to you next time. It's been so much fun.
I hope
Join.
none of that changed your life, but it is something to chew on.
Thanks, y'all, for listening. We'll catch you next time. Love you.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Music by Moer. Editing and design by Trey House.